Hey everybody, it is week 11 of the 2017 college football season. I think this week is going to be very good, just like last week was to us. A lot of chaos, a lot of upsets, a lot of big games. And with that said, I'll just go over a couple of them that I'm not going to talk about as far as the breakdowns. But outside of that is Auburn, Georgia, Stanford, Washington on Friday night, Oklahoma and TCU, and Notre Dame, Miami. With that said, with all these games I'm going to break down, and those big games, I'm going to try something new this Sunday. So at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Central, I'm actually going to try to do the live stream to do a recap of everything from Saturday, talk about where it puts us, where we should look at, the last 2 weeks of the regular season, and kind of what it means for the postseason. So tune in for that, and the way to get notified for that is to make sure you hit the bell beside the subscribe button if you've already subscribed. And if you haven't subscribed, make sure you hit the subscribe button and then make sure you hit that bell, like I said. That way you get notifications anytime anything's uploaded from this channel, and also when the live stream's going to start. So again, that's 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Central, Sunday morning. Last week was very good. Went 2-1 official plays. With Cal -8 was a win against Oregon State. They won by 14. Got one step closer to being bowl eligible. Oregon plus 24.5 was our only loss against Washington. They did jump out to a 3-0 lead and then couldn't do anything, giving up 38 unanswered points. So Oregon plus 24.5 was our only loss, like I said. And last we had South Carolina plus 24. So if you watched last week, I talked extensively on this game and how I thought that Georgia would win the game, but I thought they'd win by a couple touchdowns. I thought South Carolina could hold it a little closer than the experts thought, and that's exactly what they did. They lost 24-10, giving us a cover and putting us at 2-1. Leans did go 3-0, so make sure you stay to the end of the video where I give out 3 more leans today after the 3 games I talk about for official plays. And just with that said, keep in mind that everything you read or hear in this video, read on the blog, read on the website, is for anybody's use. Feel free to do so. But just always remember that the outcomes are completely my opinion. And with that said, we'll jump right into 3 official plays this week. The first game we have is USC against Colorado. USC is a 13.5 point road favorite against Colorado with an over-under of 62.5. USC is coming off a home win against Arizona where they jumped out 28-6, and then let Arizona slowly but surely come back in the game and tie it up 35-35. Then USC took the game in their, under control, finished it off with 2 touchdowns late to win 49-35. Colorado, on the other hand, is coming off an 11-point loss to Arizona State, 41-30. This game, the last 2 years, has been very good with a 3-point and a 4-point victory, both by USC, but also during those games, you had Colorado covering each game as an underdog. Colorado is 5-5 this year so far. With 2 games left, they have to win 1 more to become bowl eligible. Trends, Colorado to the over is 4-1 their last 5 games overall. The over in Colorado games is 7-2 the last 9, when giving up 40 or more the week before. USC, the over is 4-0 their last 4 games overall. And USC to the over is 7-2 their last 9 on grass. Projected stats, I have USC rushing between 280 to 300 yards. That's a ton of yards for running the ball with a pretty well-balanced offense. I have them passing between 260 to 280 yards, so a lot of stats there. Colorado, I have rushing between 170 to 190 yards. They have a very good running back, but just not a lot of depth behind him. Colorado have passing between 280 to 300 yards. They've got a pretty decent quarterback and a good, good set of receivers. So with that said, I see a lot of points scored in this game, and therefore we're taking over 62.5 as the first official play. The next game is Michigan State at Ohio State. Michigan State, the over-under is 55, with Ohio State being a home favorite of 15.5. So 15.5 points at home after giving up 55 last week to Iowa. Michigan State comes up in this game, beating Penn State at home last week in an upset, 27-24. That game was an early game with a 3-hour weather delay. Come back out, finished up the game, and scored the game-winning field goal with just a few seconds left to win 27-24. Quarterback for Ohio State did throw 4 interceptions in that 55-point loss to Iowa. So I don't see him doing that again. I see him being very conservative this week. The last 2 years, this game has been extremely close with a 3-point victory and a 1-point victory. Last year, Michigan State had a rough year. They had a chance to win this game where they scored a late touchdown and elected to go for 2 instead of kicking an extra point and going to overtime. I personally think that was a great call. At the time when it happened, I thought I was pretty much screaming at the TV to go for 2, because what better way, late in the season, you're having a bad year, you've got a chance to beat a team that's eventually going to the playoffs, and they did so. They tried to go for 2. They just come up a little bit short. I still think it was a good call, and I would do it. If I was a coach, I'd do it 10 out of 10 times. Ohio State is 4-1 at home this year, so their only loss coming to Oklahoma. Michigan State has proven in the last couple of years that they can play very good in the month of November. And some data that stood out: Big Ten teams home favorites of 10.5 to 17 during the last 3 or 4 weeks of the year are 12-7 for 63.2%. Trends: 1-5 for Ohio State their last 6 after an against the spread loss. Ohio State is 1-5 their last 6 as home games. Michigan State is 9-3 their last 12 in conference games, and Michigan State is 18-7-1 their last 26 as an underdog of any amount, and all of those trends are against the spread. Projected stats: I have Michigan State rush between 90 to 110 yards, so right around 100 yards, while I have them passing for quite a bit more, between 300 to 320 yards. They've got a good thing going with their quarterback, and I think they're going to keep it going. I have Ohio State rushing between 140 to 160 yards, while passing between 260 to 280 yards. I really think that Ohio State's going to come out slow. I think they're going to be very conservative. Coming off that big loss last week by a lot of points, I think J.T. Barrett with 4 interceptions last week, I think he's going to be very, very conservative. He's going to pull the ball even more than he usually does. I think he's going to try to make safe passes, and then if he does open it up and get those stats, it's going to be in the second half. With that said, I have Ohio State winning by 4, and therefore the play is Michigan State plus 15.5. The last game I have is Iowa versus Wisconsin. Wisconsin is currently a 12-point home favorite with an over-under 46. Iowa's coming off that huge win against Ohio State, putting up 55, and I don't know if I've seen an Iowa team do that to a Power 5 school in my lifetime. Maybe they have, maybe I'm just overlooking it. But that's a ton of points for a team that usually, puts up between 10 and 20. Not saying that's a bad thing. They play good defense. I'm just saying that that's a lot of points for a team that's not used to scoring that many points. So Wisconsin is coming off a game where they led 24-17 going into the fourth, and actually scored 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter to win 45-17. Wisconsin is undefeated this year. If you've been keeping up with college football, they're in the top 10. They're looking to, get into that playoff spot, and for that reason, they're 5-0 at home. And with that, I give them a 3-point home field advantage. That is the top of the scale for me. I don't give out more than 3 points to a team. So this shows that I do believe in Wisconsin at home. I think that their fans are very good. I think that that stadium is very underrated as far as playing in Madison. So 3 points there. They are going in this game with a ton of injuries. 9 players, and they're 2 deep, are on the questionable status. And that includes their starting running back, James. So Wisconsin's got a lot of injuries this week. The data is the same as it was in the Ohio State game. Big Ten teams, home favorites of 10.5 to 17. During the last 3 to 4 weeks of the year are 12-7 for 63.2%. Trends that stood out: Wisconsin is 2-5-1 their last 8 home games. Wisconsin is 1-5-1 their last 7 versus a team with a winning record. Iowa is 6-2 their last 8 conference games. And Iowa is 5-0 their last 5 as an underdog of more than 10 points. I have this game finishing 24-21 with really a chance for either team to win. And therefore, I think Iowa plus 12 is the play. So again, Iowa plus 12, Michigan State plus 15.5, and USC Colorado over 62.5. Leans for this week, I have 3, Rutgers plus 31, South Carolina minus 7, and Clemson, Florida State over 46. So good luck this week. Make sure you tune in Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Central for that live stream recap of Saturday's games. Good luck. Check out the NFL video. It's linked in the description below. And see you next week. Thanks.